Donald Trump hit his first major roadblock as president-elect today when his nominee for Attorney General Matt Gaetz withdrew from consideration after more bombshell revelations about the sex trafficking allegations against him came to light. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. If there's one message Republicans have taken away from the election, it's that Donald Trump has a mandate. He's flying high. He can't be stopped, and is full steam ahead for the Trump train.
Breaking news, Matt Gaetz has just announced he's withdrawing his name to be the next Attorney General of the United States. Just a day after he tried to win over skeptical Senate Republicans, and after word from Mar-a-Lago that Trump was not backing down, he's out.
Matt Gaetz is out, but his nomination was only 8 days old. Once again, he can't even make it to 18. Now, you might assume Gaetz dropped out because his nomination was a catastrophic miscalculation that misjudged the Senate's appetite for a bruising confirmation battle over an accused sexual predator. But actually, according to Gaetz and Trump, everything was going great.
This is from Matt Gaetz. Quote, "I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition."
We have gotten a post from Donald Trump. This is what he wrote on Truth Social. He wrote, "I greatly appreciate the recent efforts of Matt Gaetz in seeking approval to be Attorney General. He was doing very well, but at the same time did not want to be a distraction for the administration, for which he has much respect."
Yeah, sure, dude. He dropped out because he was doing so well. This is like the Jets holding a press conference to say they have plans for Super Bowl weekend. Yeah, we'd love to come, but we have a wedding. We can't miss the wedding. Guess it didn't take us long to get back to the Jets. Gaetz was not doing very well. He was doing the worst of all your cabinet picks, and that's saying a lot. One of them dumped a bear carcass in Central Park and was investigated for cutting the head off a whale with a chainsaw. Another bragged in her memoir about murdering a dog, and then the first guy was like, "You gonna keep the body?" "Dead dog, I'd love to call dibs on the dead dog." And another, your nominee for Secretary of Defense, participated in a lumberjack battle on Fox News where he threw an axe on live TV and fully missed the target. Only Trump could see that and think, he should be in charge of the military. In reality, Gaetz was facing even more bombshell allegations and saw the writing on the wall.
This new story is that the Ethics Committee was told of a second sexual encounter with a woman who was just 17 years old. She testified to the committee that this second sexual encounter, which has never been reported before, also included another adult woman. And I want to note that she testified about both sexual encounters, not only to the House Ethics Committee, but also in a civil deposition down in Florida. I reached out to his team around 11:30 this morning. We made it clear that we would go with this news story at 12:30, and we offered them the opportunity to weigh in. And instead of getting a response or a comment, just about a minute before we were about to go live on CNN, he notified the world that he is withdrawing from consideration as Attorney General.
Oh my God, they asked him for a comment, and his comment was, "I quit." This is like if the Mystery Gang showed up to a haunted amusement park and the first ghost they saw immediately ripped off his mask and said, "All right, fine, you got me. It's Matt Gaetz. Hey. And while I'm here, what's your deal, Daphne?" Just said, "What's your deal?" Even Fox News admitted this morning before Gaetz withdrew that the nomination was a bad idea, although they also claimed that Gaetz was really the only problematic nominee.
The Trump transition team, you look at the big screen, there isn't the kind of headlines around any of those that you see around Matt Gaetz. And the constant drip, drip, drip every day of some new revelation, the Trump team's got to be thinking, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. We don't want to be spinning our wheels. We don't want the distraction. We would like to hit the ground running.
First of all, Donald Trump has never hit the ground running in his life. Even when he walks, he lumbers around like a zombie, waiting for his takeout order. "Where the hell is Brains? I ordered Brains an hour ago." Second, it's not true that Gaetz is the only problematic pick. Trump's entire cabinet is a scandal-plagued army of business orcs and reality TV doofuses. It's just that Gaetz was so egregious, no one had time for anything else. That's the Trump playbook. Just flood the zone with terrible choices so we don't have the capacity to react to all of them. It's like being the only security guard at a Best Buy on Black Friday who bosses says, "Don't let anybody get out of control, Dave." Are you like, there's too many people? If anything, Gates dropping out should pave the way to focus on the other dangerous nominees, like Axeman Pete Hegseth, who is also accused of sexual assault and was flagged as a possible insider threat by a fellow service member, or Dr. Oz, his nominee to run Medicare and Medicaid, who pushed quack treatments on TV and owned stock in pharmaceutical companies. And of course, RFK Jr., the world's most famous hotel for brainworms, who has such a checkered past. He said this about himself at a campaign event.
I told my wife the other day, I said, I got so many skeletons in my closet that if they could vote, I could be king of the world.
In fairness, they're only skeletons because they refused to get vaccinated for measles. Also, it's not the dumbest part of what he said, but, kings, even if skeletons could vote, kings aren't elected, The skeletons wouldn't vote for you. They would, simply acknowledge your divine right or passively submit to it. And look, I know it's beside the point, but for some reason, that part really annoys me. It's like being served a turd sandwich with a pickle when you clearly said no pickle. You know what I mean? I think I'm losing it. Donald Trump stood firmly behind all these guys, including Gates, despite promising during the campaign that he would protect women.
You will no longer be abandoned, lonely, or scared. You will no longer be in danger. You're not going to be in danger any longer. You will no longer have anxiety from all of the problems our country has today. You will be protected, and I will be your protector. Women will be happy, healthy, confident, and free.
Oh my God, that last part sounds like he ripped it off from a shampoo commercial. I'm Donald Trump, and I need protection from the deep state who are out to get me no matter the cost. Women, on the other hand, need protection from split ends, and that's why I'm proud to announce the new Pantene Pro-V formula. It locks in the moisture so you can say goodbye to dryness and frizz. We hate the frizz. With Pantene by your side, you'll be happy, healthy, confident, and free. Don't believe me? I use it myself. Just look at these before and after photos. Well, you guys, I have some bad news. I regret to inform you that Trump's promise to women was a lie. He was not telling the truth. I know, you're shocked. You can hear the ripples of hushed outrage rolling through the studio. Oh, he's a liar. He's not telling you the truth. What else is he lying about? But even by Trump's degraded standards, his staffing picks have been obscene. It's almost like he's been going out of his way to find the world's biggest creeps to put them in his cabinet.
Pete Hegseth paid a woman who accused him of sexual assault to stay quiet. RFK Jr. was accused of groping a family babysitter. Critics say Elon Musk created a sexually charged workplace. And Linda McMahon and her husband are now facing a lawsuit charging they failed to stop the abuse of ring boys as young as 12. By a WWE announcer.
The bipartisan House Ethics Committee spoke with two women who say Gates paid them for sex. Overnight, ABC News exclusively obtaining financial records revealing Gates appears to have sent the women over $10,000, including 27 Venmo payments.
He allegedly committed sex trafficking through Venmo, which is, if nothing else, deeply lazy. That's like trying to rob a bank over Zoom. This is a holdup. Open the vault, put the money in a bag. I can't hear you. I think you're on mute. I said I think you're on mute. You have to unmute. You have to unmute yourself. Sorry, gang. I gotta hop off for a sec. The cops are here. By the way, the only thing more suspicious than the payments themselves was how Gates labeled them on Venmo.
The documents show between 2017 and 2019, then Congressman Gates allegedly made 27 payments to the women, totaling more than $10,000. Under the reason for the payment, Gates allegedly wrote notes including gift and just because.
Oh, come on. Just because is such a bad cover for a crime. It's a bad cover for anything. If you come home one day and give your wife a diamond necklace and she says, "Why did you get me this?" and you say, "Just because," and then try to walk away, your arm are gonna get grabbed. Also, don't you know the first rule of Venmo? You're supposed to give your payments joke reasons, not shady ones. Like when I get a Venmo from Andy Samberg that says doink reattachment surgery, I know that just means we went to dinner and split the check. Obviously, you can't reattach a doink for $73. You could try, but it ain't gonna hold. Trust me. I know from experience. Not mine. So Gates' Venmo payments were obviously suspicious. In fact, federal investigators even put together a diagram tracing the payments, and let's just say there are a lot.
Breaking news on the nomination of Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Reporting just out in the New York Times, the headline, a first for potential attorneys general, federal inquiry traced payments from Gaetz to women. Now take a look. It's a chart that the Times obtained that shows pictures of Matt Gaetz and his friend Joel Greenberg with links to women and payments. The document assembled by investigators during a 3-year sex trafficking investigation into Mr. Gaetz is a chart that shows a web of thousands of dollars in Venmo payments between Mr. Gaetz and a group of his friends, associates, and women who had drug-fueled sex parties between 2017 and 2020, according to testimony the participants are said to have given to federal congressional investigators.
Look at that diagram. That looks like something you get back from 23andMe, except it's 17andMe. Now, this is not me. The me is Matt. This is the creepiest edition of Where's Waldo I've ever seen. This is like one of those Richard Scarry books where you have to find Goldbug. Let's see, where is he? Oh, there he is, right next to Matt. There. Wait, but they can't all fit in Goldbug's bug dozer, so who drove to the sex parties? Oh, not you, lowly worm. And if this chart were about a Democrat, Trump would have put it on cards, he would have handed it out at his rallies, and we know he loves charts because he's talked about it at rallies in, of course, the most off-putting way possible.
I have a chart that's my all-time favorite. I love that. Is it around? Is it around? I love that chart. I sleep with that chart every night. I kiss it.
After that rally, Trump Venmo'd the chart and labeled it just because. And it's not just Gaetz. You can make a second chart of everyone in Trump's cabinet who's been accused of sexual misconduct, with lines pointing from Trump to Hegseth, RFK, back to Trump hugging a chart, to Trump hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, now, we had to Photoshop this picture. I mean, can you imagine how MAGA would react if it was real? It is? This is a real picture? That's a real picture of Trump with notorious sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. It's real? This is real? Where did you find it? Oh, no, in a Richard Scarry book. Feel like we might be getting a letter from the Scary estate. The Gaetz fiasco should serve as a reminder to everyone that politics and journalism still matter. Just because Donald Trump narrowly won a close election in a very divided country, an election in which he got less than 50% of the vote, doesn't mean he's invincible. When they try to do unpopular stuff, like make an accused sex trafficker the attorney general, they're going to face headwinds and blowback, and an organized, energetic opposition can take advantage of that to stop or at least slow down their toxic agenda. With Gaetz out, the women who work at the Justice Department can now breathe a sigh of relief knowing they'll be
happy, healthy, confident, and free.
This has been A Closer Look. Hey guys.